Welcome to Comic Construction. Today I'm looking at the construction and providing an overview of the G.I Joe Compendium Softcover Volume 1 from Image Skybound. Larry Hama does most of the writing with art by Herb Trimpe, Mike Vosberg, and Rod Wiggum. This book is a standard size softcover at 6 3/4 by 10 1/4 inches. The book cover is coated with a dull coating, and the G.I Joe logo has a spot varnish. It's a subtle effect, so my camera's having a hard time picking it up. The cover stock is a little thinner than some of the other recent compendiums, which is a bit concerning, but feels in keeping with the rest of this publication, which is very old school in its build. It is a super thick book at 1,168 pages. It's much thicker than the recent Nightwing compendium, which is 1,079 pages. But due to the different paper stocks, the G.I Joe compendium is 3 1/4 inches thick versus the Nightwing compendium 2, which is 1 3/4. The stock in the G.I Joe compendium is uncoated, which is lighter but also thicker than coated paper, like that used in the Nightwing compendium. The printing of this Classic Joe material has never looked better. The restoration team did an outstanding job. This isn't the first time it's been printed. IDW did some really expensive hardcovers, but the text was really thick and hard to read, and here it's very clear no matter how close I get into it. It looks like it did in the original comics, so that's great. I bought the version with the direct market cover because that cover to G.I. Joe #1 is so iconic to me. G.I. Joe is a foundational book for me. It showed me that comics can be about more than superheroes. The characters who, despite being very good at their military specialties, are regular people. There are no superpowers. And the stories are pretty grounded and kind of realistic, especially considering this was done in the 80s for kids. It explores some heavy themes like how capitalism has left people behind and how poorly Vietnam War vets were treated after serving the country. This is very interesting to me since I grew up in the shadow of the Vietnam War and heard many stories about my dad's friends suffering from PTSD, though that term was not super common knowledge at that point. The first 10 issues are really special to me. And I would also like to note that issue 1 is the Larry Hama cut. There was one line that Marvel changed back in the day, which Larry Hama felt like didn't convey what he was trying to say with that line, so that line has been changed back. It feels more realistic to a Vietnam era veteran's idea with the restored line, so I'm glad they did that. In issue 4, Grunt and Hawk infiltrate a white supremacist militia. It's kind of mind-blowing to think that a kid's comic would address such like intense topics. But here we are. And issue 8 is one of my all-time favorite issues. It's scripted and drawn by Herb Trimpe, so it's one of the few issues not written by Larry Hama. In it, G.I. Joe takes on Cobra on the ocean, and after defeating Cobra, they offer to save their lives from the sinking vessel by taking them in custody. But the Cobra troopers say that they would rather die for the cause than live as captives. And several members of the G.I. Joe team are shaken by such fervor. And that was like really kind of hard to wrap my mind around as a kid. But as someone who's lived through these past like 30 years, it kind of makes sense when you're looking at the mindset of like terrorists and people that are that desperate. This book does include issue 21, which is probably the most famous issue of G.I. Joe, Silent Interlude. It's an issue completely without dialogue, but the storytelling is crystal clear. You should read up. If you've not experienced that story, you owe it to yourself to do that. And also read up the why behind it. It's really interesting. It's such a unique product of its time, with them having to move pages back and forth through the mail system and just having a short deadline. And then after issue 21, the stories do become a little more silly. The series overall kind of gets a little closer to the television show, but not that close. It's still its own thing. It's still pretty dark. It's still pretty intense. It's a book that really left a mark on me when I read it as a kid. If you've not read these before, you really should treat yourself to this book. This book collects issues 1 through 50 of G.I Joe Real American Hero, and the MSRP is $64.99. I bought it through in-stock trades. I want to say I got it for about $35 or $40. It's totally worth it. Thanks for checking out this video. If you find this video helpful, like it and share it with a friend. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks.